This is the 5th round of the North American Auto Club GripAll Challenge Series, the Erraticab 125 at the Carbondale Raceway in Carbondale, Illinois. We're unfortunately still reeling in from the happenings at the New York Autoring with the PCC Cup Series, those multiple horrific crashes that occurred there. And following that race, the promoters of the New York Autoring, the North American Auto Club, they are considering making some pretty hefty changes to that circuit to avoid the same type of incidents that happened last time around, which were unfortunately a huge oversight by the part of the track owners. Some of those incidents were just disasters waiting to happen, but the sooner we fix them, the better we can avoid more of them in the future. Unfortunately, it only took cars running 60 miles faster than what the North American Auto Club does to show that was an issue. One team that is very interested in the developments from that is Overton Motorsports, which have joined the calls for a series-wide boycott of the next plate track race at Talladega over the safety concerns that were raised before the New York Autoring, and now they're being raised even harder after it. But the thing with the Overton Motorsports crew is that they don't even run in the Cup Series, so it's really funny to see them position themselves so much in the forefront of this situation. In the meantime, we do have to talk about the North American Auto Club race, the E400, which was contested in the New York Autoring. The sole larger incident of that race, which was Rafael Molina dumping the 59 of Lucas Calhoun, was investigated, and Molina has been penalized in 20 championship points, mostly due to the fact she's only running the Fay Legacy Cup races, so she's not gonna be liable for a suspension. And because of this points penalty, she's the only driver in the field with a negative points tally. In the meantime, this race is supposed to be in very cold weather in a Saturday morning. This should give less grip on the tires, should make for a very interesting race. Taking a look at the starting lineup, Riley McKee takes a surprising pole position with Jamal Schmidt starting on his outside. Another big surprise on the inside of row 2. Corbin Dempsey alongside him, Blake Chandler, who's still trying to get his first win after hitting the post quite a few times this season. Caitlin Richler starting in 5th place, trying to bounce back from an abysmal run from the Columbia Speedway until the New York Autoring, with Kelly Ashcroft starting on her outside. Lucy Barton, the championship 2nd place, is starting in the 7th position alongside her. Luke Pellerin, who is doing double duty, he's also gonna run the PCC Truck Series race here. Ruby Carson starting in the 9th position, with Mac Henley starting in 10th. Failing to qualify were Kira Downer, Steve Garrett Jr., Matt Stern, Emily Potvin, Tegan Robertson, Rachel Jackson, Ashley Richardson, Boyd Abbott, and Creeper Stevenson. This race is gonna be a little under 100 miles, 125 laps, 32 cars starting. We do not expect any pit stops, but due to the weather, some teams may choose to change tires in the middle of it just to make sure they have enough rubber to get to the finish. The track is around 0.8 miles. The banking on the turns varies between 7 degrees on turn 2 to 13 degrees on the final turn in turn number 1. Overall, it's a very cold morning, 38 degrees, 54 degrees the track temperature following the warm-up. The winds are a little bit stronger than usual, but not a question for worry. And the forecast is clear, so no threat of rain. Let's go trackside for the start of the race. As you see the pace car rounding out turn number 2, Riley McKee has the pole position. Jamal Schmidt starting in 2nd place. Should be a very interesting race, 125 laps. And the green flag is in the air. Riley McKee leads them to the green, and it's a good start. It is a good start as they wind down to turn number 1. Jamal Schmidt has a very good turn number 1. Here goes Blake Chandler, and Riley McKee has dropped to the 3rd position. Here comes Kelly Ashcroft on the outside of Corbin Dempsey, and she is going for the 3rd spot, and Kelly Ashcroft now takes the 3rd spot coming into turn number 3, and she is clear away from Riley McKee. As Jamal Schmidt and Blake Chandler begin their battle for the lead on turn number 2. Chandler on the inside, Schmidt on the outside. Schmidt trying to hang on. Chandler has the nose. Jamal on the exit, loses a little bit of time. Blake Chandler takes the lead. And they're still side by side by the time we start lap number 3. Jamal Schmidt gets the edge. Then coming to turn number 2, Kelly Ashcroft joins in the fun, and Corbin Dempsey has taken the 4th spot. In the back of the field, Kip Lemon from 29th place hits the wall. Those cold tires are doing the trick. He just tried to brake and just went straight into the wall once, almost went into it twice, and drops back to 31st spot. Rebecca Pellerin, the points leader leaving New York, is trying to work her way back up front. She started in the back and is now in 16th place 4 laps in, working on Ibiki Murata. Right in front of her is Brett Finlay and Thomas Tucker. Right behind her, Peter Johnson. Luke Pellerin running in 6th place, almost gets together with Mac Henley and Riley McKee. McKee free fallen as we enter the 6th lap of competition. Joy Torkson, Caitlin Richler right there behind. Torkson looking to win more points. Luke Pellerin did not get a turn number 1 very good and loses a little bit of time, and now he's under threat from Caitlin Richler. Richler into the wall again. Those cold tires are really making it difficult to steer the car. As you check the rear end camera of McKee as Pellerin and Hanley battle for position. Torkson seeking to make a move under Pellerin, and he's gonna get it done. Lap number 8, Chandler and Schmidt cannot get away from each other. Ashcroft just watching this battle unfold, and there goes Chandler, clears the 55 coming out of turn number 3, and Blake Chandler has the lead. In 1 lap later, he already opened a couple of car lengths over the 55, and the 55 has a couple of car lengths over the 99. This is gonna get very interesting as Riley McKee hanging on to the 5th spot. It's still a battle with Mac Henley. Very interesting running in so far. As Ibiki Murata running in 16th place, 3 wide with her and Rebecca Pellerin and Sten Gustafsson. Gustafsson goes through. Murata hits the wall, almost hits the 89, and now she runs into problems for the first time in her race as she falls under threat from Lexi Percy. In the front of the field, Blake Chandler leading away about the lap number 14 of Adam Patterson, and there he goes. Makes it look easy, and Blake Chandler has put the first car 1 lap down, 16 laps in. And in the back of the field, Rebecca Pellerin, they're feeling like she's saying there's a loss of fuel pressure. They're calling her back into the pits to check it out, and this is gonna cost her 1 or 2 laps. This is absolutely disastrous for the championship leader. Problems in the early goings on. Lap 18 of 125. That's not good. In the back of the field, Adam Patterson hits the wall, comes back in front of the field. So far, so good. But then when Mac Henley comes to lap him, he ends up hitting the 14, and the officials did not like that at all, and the race still not go. Contact with the 89. And I think we might end up hearing the officials sooner or later. This is not supposed to happen, especially not 23 laps in, as Lucas Calhoun and Megan McDonald now are going to have to lap the 14. Blake Chandler has vanished ahead 25 laps in. Corbin Dempsey right now running in a very solid 4th position behind Jamal Schmidt and Kelly Ashcroft. As you look there, Rebecca Pellerin is a lap down, just working her way around the track, trying to wait for cautions or anything to happen so she can recover her laps. As Lucy Barton running in 8th place, this result is very good for Barton. She blew up with only 3 laps to go last week at the New York Autoring. Recovering, oh, Joy Torkson taps the wall. But back to Barton, recovering those points is paramount for her at this point. She needs to get back in the championship lead, or at least close enough to make an impact. As you go together with Joy Torkson as he chases Caitlin Richler, that tire that tap into the wall made him fall to 11th place, but he's going for 10th all over Caitlin Richler as Adam Patterson into the wall again and into the 38 of Alessandro Nolan, almost into the front of the 25 of Kate Taylor. And the officials now, they issued a penalty drive-through for those contacts with the 18, the 38, and the 89. So Adam Patterson now is going to lose a couple more laps in this drive-through. Jamal Schmidt and Kelly Ashcroft continue to battle for the second position on lap number 29. As Riley McKee finds himself in 5th, Corbin Dempsey is 4th. Here comes McHinley and Luke Pellerin on the inside. Ronnie Samples and Lucy Barton are up there in the battle. And Riley McKee taps the wall. There goes the 18, the 88's on it. We almost had a 3 wide. But Luke Pellerin wisely backed off. And he's going to wait to make the move on another turn as Ronnie Samples is gonna pass the number 88 as the 14 is merging back on track. That could have been way more dangerous than it was, but Chandler ends up hitting the wall anyway because I think in the panic he lost his braking point and that could have done it. Doesn't seem to have a lot of damage. He's still managing through the lap cars fine, and he now has found a gaggle of them on lap number 38. And he's gonna lap Kirk Jones, Lee Schmidt, and Alessandro Nolan. And then after him, it's Charlie Faulkner. Very interesting situation building up so far. And now you go on board with Lucy Barton on the inside of the 88. She has won half of the season contested so far. Pellerin in the wall. And Barton to the inside, battling with Luke Pellerin. She won 2 out of the 4 races so far. If this result holds, I believe she does take back the championship lead as Kristen Young hits the wall, almost hits the 88 and the 98. That could have ended much, much, much worse than it did, as Adam Patterson is holding back a few people there. The 97, the 77 having a lot of difficulty as he hits the wall, and now the 33 and the 14 are side by side holding up the 9, the 2, the 69. Contact between the 14 and the 69 of Peter Johnson. The officials aren't happy already. We might see more extreme measures if this keeps on, as the 14 once again another major contact as he goes past Caitlin Richler, hits the wall again, and he has been excluded from the race following these multiple incidents. He's gonna have to pull out into the pits, and he has been disqualified. As Adam Patterson leading away, Kristen Young is in 29th place, also bound to be lapped, as Peter Johnson goes on her outside, and she took her time to give space. The officials did not like that also, and drive through for her. The officials are not taking lightly a lot of these incidents early on. As we reach lap number 50, Kelly Ashcroft, Jamal Schmidt, and Rebecca Pellerin are all together. Pellerin is 2 laps down. Jamal Schmidt lapping the 25 of Kate Taylor, and Kelly Ashcroft is stuck behind Taylor. She uses the outside. She uses him as a pick, and Kelly Ashcroft now takes the second position as they are now within striking distance of the 03 of Blake Chandler. The lap cars have really made it difficult for whoever is in the lead to pass so many cars in so little time. As Jamal Schmidt now passes what is his impromptu teammate, Rebecca Pellerin, and he's gonna go on turn number 2 battling with Kelly Ashcroft. As Blake Chandler continues to lead as we enter lap 53, a lot of lap cars in his path. As see Kate Taylor, Rebecca Pellerin, Kelly Ashcroft right there, Jamal Schmidt at the end of that line. As they're coming to complete lap number 53, you're gonna go on board with Kelly Ashcroft in second place, the 2016 Series champion. Locked the championship early. She's trying to recover a lot of lost points she had this year in this early goings on, and this result certainly helps. A second place is just about what she needs. And she's gonna make a move on the inside of Blake Chandler, coming to turn number 2 as the 27 is about to unlap herself in relation to the 25. And there goes Kelly Ashcroft on the inside. Chandler has a better run off, and Chandler retains the lead. As Kristen Young on the outside hits the wall, bounces back in front of Caitlin Richler. Caution! Caitlin Richler has just been wrecked from the 10th position on the lead lap by a lapped car on lap number 56. And the officials are about to issue something here. This is not good for Caitlin Richler, and it's bound to be even worse for Kristen Young, who has been disqualified for avoidable contact with a lead lap car. In my view, this is extremely harsh, but given this is a companion event with the PCC Cup Series, the North American Auto Club cannot afford to have such displays of driving. The cold weather is not an excuse. She just hit the wall and came down back into Caitlin Richler. Richler was having a solid run, and this has all been put to naught. And the cold weather also interfering on the tires. Everybody chooses to pit instead of risking it out. Kate Taylor is supposed to be the lifeline, as you're gonna see. He goes through the pace car, but not even a few seconds later, something happened. We guess the wheel was unsecured, and he was only with 3 wheels by the time he got to turn number 2. And you see the officials are very, very surprised something like this happened, as Kate Taylor pulls slowly into the pits. And instead of getting the lifeline, nobody gets the lifeline. That's sad. As Lee Schmidt pulls into the pits with problems, and that's his day, taking a turn for the worst. As he enters the pits, they're gonna try to work it out on this car and see if they can put him back on track. Mega McDonald and Rebecca Pellerin refused to pit this time around. Pellerin already pitted. McDonald's just on track. She decided to not pit because she is a lap down, and they will wave around the field and be back on the lead lap at the end of this caution period. Blake Chandler continues to lead. This is one of the races that we're gonna have single file restarts. Leaves the field of green, and we are green here in Carbondale once again. Kelly Ashcroft, Jamal Schmidt, Corbin Dempsey, and Mac Henley finish off the top 5. So we have 4 black cars, 1 white car, then 2 white cars right behind them. Ronnie Samples and Lucy Barton. And there goes Chandler. Opens a gap already as we are gonna enter lap number 64 of 125. We're bound to hit the halfway point. Kelly Ashcroft hanging on in the battle. Very close quarters battle with Jamal Schmidt. And she is gonna get it done as they exit turn number 2. Entering turn number 3. Corbin Dempsey and Mac Henley are closer to each other than Ashcroft and Jamal Schmidt are to each other. And this is building a lot of interesting excitement because Lucy Barton is in 7th place right now. She's gonna try to make a move on the outside of Ronnie Samples. Samples catches that, and Barton's trying to gain that position because the more positions, the bigger her difference gets to Rebecca Pellerin, who is still 1 lap down despite waving around last time around. Jamal Schmidt now on the inside of Kelly Ashcroft for the 2nd position. Is it gonna work? Kelly Ashcroft goes way wide on the exit of the corner. Jamal Schmidt putting the pressure, and the pressure works. Jamal Schmidt, 2nd place, and Kelly Ashcroft starting to fade. And this is not good because here comes Corbin Dempsey and Mac Henley. She powers it out of turn number 2, and Kelly Ashcroft back in the 2nd position, while Corbin Dempsey and Mac Henley fight it out for the 4th spot. Ronnie Samples running in 5th. As Jamal Schmidt on the inside of Blake Chandler by the time we reach lap number 69, and he's on the inside of Chandler. Chandler into the wall! Chandler got pressured, intimidated, bamboozled, and now Jamal Schmidt is the new leader with only around 51, 52 laps to go. Connie Brooks, working her way forward, is finding herself in the 14th position, having a very solid run as we are entering the dire straits of this race. She's chasing the 15 off Brett Finley, as Jamal Schmidt now lapping the 200 off Kip Lemon. Doesn't look like he's gonna have any issues, but Kip Lemon has a way better exit out the corner, and I don't think Jamal's gonna like that. But he has the fastest car on track undeniably, so he just needs to chill, calm down, and work his way forward as they come out of turn number 3. Lemon hits the wall. Big scare for Jamal Schmidt. As we enter lap number 90, Jamal Schmidt leads, and there is a huge gap until Blake Chandler pops into the start-finish line. Then there's Kelly Ashcroft, Ronnie Samples, Corbin Dempsey battling for 5th with Mac Henley, and it's a big pack of cars racing around here in Carbondale. As Kip Lemon's on the outside. Here comes Corbin Dempsey trying to make the move. Ronnie Samples passed him. And Kip Lemon hanging on, barely hanging on. Looks like that car is going to come out of shape at any point now. And he hits the wall, bounces into Mac Henley. And that's another incident where a lap car hits the lead lap car. The officials, again, not liking that a little bit. And they're going to issue another penalty. And it's a drive-through for Kip Lemon for those multiple avoidable contacts. The officials are really not liking the lap car behavior this weekend. They're really holding people by the scruff of their neck. As Jamal Schmidt on lap number 106, 20 laps to go, has opened a insurmountable gap. He has ran away with his lead and is hanging on for the first position. Second position still Blake Chandler as Connie Brooks working her way forward. Kelly Ashcroft just about faded down, almost outside of the top 10 on the outside, hits the wall, bounces back into Riley McKee, and that's a position battle that could have almost ended way worse than it did. And Kelly Ashcroft's just fading behind. Something's clearly wrong with that car, and I guess Kelly knows it too, because she is saying the fuel pressure is starting to drop, and with only just a few laps, she just decided to stay on track. She's gonna try to hang it on as best she can to finish this race, because regardless of what happens, the way she is right now, she's gaining a lot of points. She's gaining more points than by not finishing, especially after not finishing at the New York Autoring. As Caitlin Richler has dropped all the way to 19th after that crash with Kristen Young. She must be fuming under that helmet. As Thomas Tucker running in the 22nd position, they just missed the setup in the number 9. They just did not have a good weekend this time around. He almost touches the number 02 of Lexi Percy. As Blake Chandler running in second place, lap 109, battling with the number 7 of Ronnie Samples. And this is going to be the battle for the second position, as Lucy Barton stuck there in fourth place. Chandler now is under threat. Samples on the inside. Chandler goes wide, way wide, into the wall again, and he gets shook again, this time by Ronnie Samples. And Lucy Barton's not gonna waste any time, makes her own move on the inside of the 03. Cannot close it down on turn number 2. Is gonna try it again on turn 1. Doesn't get it on turn 2 either. Is gonna try again on turn number 3. Coming to 15 laps to go. They're side by side, with Ronnie Samples taking a keen eye as you take a look at his bumper camera. Barton's on the inside, so she doesn't appear yet. There she is, with Chandler right on her. As Jamal Schmidt continues to lead and opens a immense gap over the rest of the field. And as you can see right there, Jamal Schmidt leads away. Lucy Barton and Ronnie Samples and Blake Chandler, for that matter, don't even appear in the money shot as they go around the 200 of Kip Lemon. Lemon on the wall into Lexi Percy. Percy around, Lemon around, Lexi Percy into Jamal Schmidt, and the caution is out. The caution is out. Jamal Schmidt has been wiped out from the lead with under 10 laps to go in this race. As you see Samples, Barton, Chandler go through, as Schmidt has some damage in the rear. The 55 crew spoke to the officials, and they're saying Schmidt crossed the line after the yellow came out. We're gonna have to see that, as you see the 200 bounces off the wall into the 200, and they didn't show it on the television graphics, but the 200 has been disqualified for this. This was his final strike. And as you look into the camera angle right there, you look at the light, look at the caution light. As Percy hits the wall into the front stretch, she's gonna come back down into the 55 despite having to fight so much to control it. She was not able to control it. The caution comes out before the 55 strikes the line, so Jamal Schmidt was still scored as the leader when the yellow came out, so Jamal Schmidt still gonna line up in first. And this was very bewildering for the 798 and 03 crew chiefs, but they had no way to appeal it. Jamal Schmidt was the leader when the caution came out. And now Schmidt has to hang on for 3 more laps to win the race here in Carbondale, but he has damage. Schmidt, Barton, and Chandler have kept their cars mostly pristine, but Schmidt gets a very good start, rounding out turn number 1, coming out of turn number 2. He has the lead, and he comes out. Schmidt is all over the lead as Samples and Barton are fighting for the second position, coming out of turn number 2, coming into the third turn. Barton trying to make a move, cannot close it out, and Schmidt leads the first lap after going 2 laps to go. He hangs on. Samples hanging on as Connie Brooks and Stan Gustafsson fighting for position in 4th and 5th. 5th and 6th right behind Blake Chandler, turn 2. Jamal Schmidt continues to lead. He's hanging on as Lucy Martin right behind him. Jamal Schmidt has finished the last season in 2nd place in the standings. Barton making a move on Samples. White flags in the air. Schmidt finished 2nd in the championship last year when Kelly Ashcroft preemptively locked it and dominated the season. He wasn't even in the picture when the final race last year came out. But his season start has been a little bit more difficult than should have been. However, Lady Luck has smiled to him today, and despite getting spun out in the late stages of the race, Jamal Schmidt's gonna win here in Carbondale. One of the craziest finishes I've ever had to watch in the North American Auto Club. Jamal Schmidt still pulls out with a win after getting spun by a lap car from the lead. This is going to be a very controversial race with all of the reckless driving disqualifications. Ronnie Samples finishes in 2nd. Lucy Martin gains big to finish in 3rd place. This should assure her the championship lead with the unfortunate race that Rebecca Pellerin had. Connie Brooks finishes in 4th place. Very good result. Blake Chandler 5th. This helps his championship run and his Rookie of the Year run. As Sten Gustafsson, fantastic result for the Swedish in 6th place. Mac Henley 7th. Corbin Dempsey brings out an 8th place together with his teammate Ruby Carson, who finishes where she started in 9th. And Luke Pellerin lost a few positions, but 10th place is still a top 10. A very solid result. Should keep him in line in the championship. After 5 events in this season, Lucy Barton takes the championship lead away from Rebecca Pellerin. Pellerin only stood 1 week at the point, as Blake Chandler gains 4 more positions, 14 points behind. Luke Pellerin stays where he entered the weekend, 15 points behind, as Ruby Carson gains 1 position, 24 points behind. Ashley Richardson loses big by failing to qualify. Jamal Schmidt gains 9 positions and is only 31 points behind the leader. He is on a warpath. He could gain a lot in the following short track streak. Cornelia Brooks gains 2 positions with her 4th place, and Thomas Tucker loses a lot, did not bring a good result at all, but he's still within the top 10 as Joey Torkson enters the top 10 for the first time this season. In the Rookie of the Year power rankings, Blake Chandler leads the way over Ryan Faulkner, Ibeki Murata. Boyd Abbott failed to qualify, so he loses big. Peter Johnson, Andrew Atwood, Charlie Faulkner, Jennifer Irving, Creeper Stevenson, and Kip Lemon round out the top 10. The next race for the North American Auto Club will be still following the PCC Cup Series season at the Milwaukee Mile, just an hour away from where the PCC Cup will be running in Road America. Should be a very interesting weekend with the difference between the tracks. I will see you next time around.